when we're working with the companies that we invest in, it's like all of the above. Keep throwing keep throwing the sticker up against the wall to see what sticks. I think in many cases, and this is also just because of how we decide what we're investing in, there's already like a clear requirement for the technology that we invest in and for what is being built. So there's kind of a clear entry point if you're doing it right. But again, there are always new requests for proposals that come out. There's new, you have 2 weeks to respond to this. We're looking for tech that addresses A, B, C, D. That sort of thing you can't really predict. And that can be a really exciting way forward. I mean, the SBIR process, I'm not a huge fan of the SBIR process and the SBIR zombie companies. I've seen,
Or the mills.
I've seen, yeah. Well, and I don't know if you're familiar with Amanda Bressler's work, but she has a huge body of work. She's not here in Texas anymore, unfortunately. They moved back up to the DC area. But she and her company have done a really helpful kind of data survey of the SBIR companies and kind of what happens to them, like what percentage of them actually make it. It's not good. And so, we've sort of realized like that's not the ideal way forward. And again, like you mentioned, there's so many new kind of pots of money and authorities and, things that different parts of the DoD can do to invest in this technology and actually start using it, start testing it. And that's really what we're going for. But I also want to say that the primes can be important partners. It just also like, don't give them your IP, I think a lot of people who are new to this field get excited if they get a meeting with, one of the primes. And I don't want to cast aspersions, but everyone should be careful to protect their IP. And so I think that's an important point. But that said, primes can be a really helpful partner, especially too for companies that are new, that are starting out, that let's say don't have the infrastructure to really try to get contracts that they might actually be competitive for. And partnering with a prime or becoming a sub for a contract could be a really, really important part of the journey for a defense tech startup. So
I want primes or large companies, whatever frames you want to use, whatever vertical, you want them to compete and innovate. It's when they say, I deserve this, I'm large, I'm big. That's why those are the companies that need to be, fall and taken out.
I could not agree more. I saw during my time at the Defense Department, there was this type of missile that one of the primes was making, and it was very, very in demand by a number of, an important country in the Indo-Pacific and an important country in the Gulf. And this company was 2 years behind in production of these missiles. And both countries needed them like yesterday. And one of them had even paid a one-time non-recurring fee for standing up a factory. And still their delivery was going to be 2 years late. And that's not acceptable. I've heard Trey Stevens from Anduril and Founders Fund talk about this and actually get into the details of why some of these things are so broken. These processes are so broken, even on the manufacturing side. And a lot of it does come down to software engineers and the quality of software engineers that some of these primes manage to hire, because a lot of the the most brilliant software engineers don't want to go work for a defense prime. They want to do something sexier and more exciting. And it's great to see that some of these brilliant minds are coming into the defense space, maybe not into the primes, but as founders. And I think that is part of what's driving this disruption, globally, not just in Israel or here. And that is really wonderful and exciting to see. And I think that the collaboration between some of these Israeli founders and builders and the community that we continue to build here, I think they're going to create some really amazing things together.